after the decision to remove and then euthanize a pretty famous pet squirrel from a home in the southern tier. Peanut became an internet sensation in these social media videos with more than 500,000 followers. His owners say he lived with them for 7 years after they found him on a busy New York City street. Well, last week, DEC officers seized that animal along with a pet raccoon, prompting this emotional video over the weekend.
Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us. And we got confirmation that they put him down.
The DEC says it got multiple reports from the public about potentially unsafe housing of wildlife, prompting that seizure.
If somebody killed your dog, you'd be really inclined to kill them too.
Yeah.
Somebody killed your squirrel.
Yeah, John Wick.
Yeah. The fucking squirrel thing is bananas.
Yeah.
That squirrel thing in New York?
Thing, so here's the thing about the whole squirrel thing is that how can it be that we live in America, supposedly land of the free, and the government can barge into your home with guns, so if you resist, you're going to get shot, and then take your pets and execute them. And if they can do that to your pets, what do you think they can do to you?
I know that's not an exaggeration.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you're oh, that's so crazy. How can you make that connection? But why would you kill that cute little squirrel that was obviously a pet and trained from the time it was a baby?
Yes.
If you see the interaction that guy has with that squirrel, it was wonderful. It was really cute.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Freedom Unchained channel. They killed Peanut the Squirrel, and his owner could have saved his life if he just knew how to uphold his rights using true law. And that's what we're going to get into today. Elon Musk wants to know, how can it be we live in America, the land of the free, and this happens? Well, I'll tell you, it's because the foundations of what this country was built off of, which is true law, natural law, has been wiped away out of our minds. It's taken them many generations, but they accomplished it a long time ago. Americans believe that the government has more powers than they do, and they don't fundamentally understand law. They don't fundamentally understand what the Bill of Rights is protecting, which is all of their God-given rights, all of their rights from their creator, all of their rights from the universe, all of their rights that they were born with. Some people call it natural law. I just call it true law. You can also call it universal law or God's law. But this is fundamentally what everybody has forgotten. Well, I mean, in the minds of America for generations. They really haven't forgotten it because they were never taught it. They have been indoctrinated to believe that man can make laws, that government can make laws. But in fact, government can only make rules for themselves. If you actually understand the Constitution, the government's only power is to be able to make rules that they have to obey. That not man that has to obey them. The Constitution was created to keep government in their place, which was to serve the people and to protect natural law, common law, the true law.
Yes, absolutely. It was just obviously it was a beloved pet squirrel and a raccoon too, and doing no harm. And the government comes in, barges into the guy's house, takes his pets and kills them. And I think this should really get people out there mobilized, frankly, because when you see that, like the John Wick movie, where John Wick's like, he just wants peace, like in the John Wick movie, he's like, listen, I want to retire, and they offer him like tons of money, like to eat, because they want him to be an assassin, to keep being an assassin. Like they offer him tons of money. They threaten him. He's like, listen, I'm not going to be, I'm out, And they kill his dog. That was a bad idea. That was a really...
They killed that cute little puppy, and the puppy was his ex-wife's gift to him when she died of cancer.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Great movie.
The best revenge movie of all time. Because it's so ridiculous. He kills everybody.
Yeah, he kills everyone.
And you're rooting for him.
Yeah. They shouldn't have killed his dog.
Yeah, they fucked up. And they shouldn't have killed that squirrel.
They shouldn't have killed that squirrel. I mean, it's like how many cases have we not heard about,
Oh, look at that little guy. And that squirrel clearly had a love relationship with that guy. He would hop all over him and climb on him. I mean, that was his pet. That squirrel thought of that man as his protector, as his companion.
Yes.
There was nothing wrong with that. And in Texas, it's totally legal. You could have a fucking zebra out here. You could have whatever you want. And that's the argument for freedom. And, the flip side is you get a bunch of people with tigers in their backyard, which is not great.
But it's like this was a fucking squirrel. It's not.
Right.
It's not an anaconda or a crocodile or something that's
or a
gonna harm.
chimpanzee. Did you see Chimp Crazy?
Oh man, chimps will eat your face. Okay?
They will fuck you up.
They will fuck you
And they don't
up.
even. The thing is, they don't even kill you. They just cripple you.
Well, it's obviously totally understandable if somebody's got a creature that is dangerous to others. But
Right.
like obviously a squirrel and a raccoon are not.
Well,
And-
squirrels are fucking everywhere. That's what's so crazy.
yeah, like,
why
why not
can't you
just-
have it in the house? What kind of rules are we dealing with? You have rats everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, they're allowing criminals to go free and like violent criminals to go free, but they're like spending your tax dollars to come in and execute your fucking pets. What the hell is going on?
Exactly.
And it's like,
but it's overreach.
it's
And
it's government overreach, and this just keeps getting worse every year, and that's why we've got to fight back against this. It's people say like, well, it's just a squirrel. Well, it was in John Wick's case, it was just a dog.
Right. Yeah.
But
Well, remember the Russian guy said, it's a fucking dog. It's just a fucking
Yeah.
dog.
just a fucking
Yeah.
squirrel.
Yeah. Well, it's the funniest thing is when
So
I just don't understand how anybody could justify it. I don't understand how anybody it seems to me that in a logical world, all that guy would have to do is say, "Why don't you see me with this squirrel? This squirrel's a pet.
yeah,
Like, look, he hops on me, he eats, he sleeps. I can keep a gerbil, but I can't keep a squirrel. I can have a guinea pig. I can't have a squirrel. I can have a chinchilla. My daughter has a chinchilla. It's adorable, adorable little thing. Climbs all
Right.
over. Can't
Well,
have a squirrel.
I believe now is the best time to start teaching men, women, how to protect their rights. Because fundamentally, I believe everybody, for the majority of people, want to be free in this world. And I think it's the best time to start teaching people true law. That's why I recommend you guys going to the Sovereign's Way Club. In the description, join the free club. It is a private memberships association. It's probably what this guy should have been creating instead of a non-profit, asking the government if he can do business instead of just doing things in private, which you have a right to. You have a right to associate with men privately. That's what we call a private membership association. And because the Constitution protects your right to contract and the government can't infringe on a contract, it protects you from the government to privately contract with individuals to do your business. And the Sovereign's Way Club is going to teach you how to fundamentally stand up for your rights by first understanding the idea of true law, natural law, God's laws, how this country was fundamentally started before the Constitution was even created. The United States was based off of these principles, this anarchist principles of rules without rulers. So in the description, join the Sovereign's Way Club. Okay, it's free, so you can fundamentally understand your rights. Then if you want to dive deeper into actually learning to write notices or affidavits to protect yourself and your family from these tyrannical organizations the government created, I would say unconstitutionally. They might not be unconstitutionally, but they are definitely infringing on people's rights on a day-to-day basis, taking more and more rights away from people because people actually just don't understand their rights. So if you want to dig deeper and learn how to write notices, which this guy should have done, he should have wrote a notice to notify the government of their trespass of the property, his property, because property is the most important word. The government has no right to administrate your property. That's why you call your children property and your wife and your husband property. And you are property to them, okay? It's not an ownership thing. Property is not an ownership thing. It's like a right to a title as in father, husband, son, mother, creator. Say if you create something, then you fundamentally have the rights to administrate that property as you wish. And this is the scariest word the government doesn't want you to use in your court, because that's what he would have been bringing, is a claim in his court. And then using the public court houses to argue his law. And these government agencies would have had no leg to stand on. Because not even when you put a badge on or a mask, you become another person, hide behind a uniform, does that change your obligations to other men? Doesn't give you special rights. Doesn't allow you to break the law. So if you, as a man, understand this fundamentally, you'll start learning how to write notices to stop these evil people in their tracks. And that's a theme we're going to touch on here shortly, because people keep asking in this video, why did they do this? Why did this happen? So let's hear from Mark, and let's him tell his story of how the government trespassed on him and robbed him at gunpoint, which is another crime, which he could have brought charges against them if he actually learned true law, went to the Sovereign's Way Club, joined it for free, and took the courses, donated a little bit to actually learn a lot, and then support the channel. And he, also subscribe to this channel, like the video, share the video around, and leave a comment and got a conversation started. How you all should do as well. So let's just hear what Mark has to say about his experience being trespassed on by the government.
We just learned that they have euthanized Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well. I am so sorry. This must be really difficult for you.
It not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I was sat there like a criminal after they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And then they took them and killed them.
So it's sad to say, but we hear these stories all the time. And I'm going to guarantee you this search warrant was unconstitutional, unlawful, illegal, whatever you want to call it. And if the search warrant wasn't, the search was, because in the search warrant they have to define the place they're going to search and what they're searching for. So they can't just go randomly running all over the house, searching everything in the house to search for whatever they're looking for or want to find. So once again, if you don't know true law, you don't know these things. If you don't understand the principles of law or the principles of your due process rights, then these are things that you can't hold the government accountable for. And they're hoping for that. They're hoping for you guys to be so ignorant that they can just stomp all over your rights. And you can't do anything about it. Because you can't do anything about it because you don't know how to write notices or affidavits or present any of this stuff in court or file a claim against the wrongdoer. Because you most likely are going to do a complaint. You're going to bitch and moan instead of actually be a man and claim something. So once again, join the Sovereign's Way Club and you can start learning these things. But this next question is a question I really want to address. So let's hear what the question is and I'll address that.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this for 7 years? Why now suddenly did they show up with a search warrant and take these animals?
We haven't a clue.
Because they're tyrants. They're authoritarians. They get high off their own power. And they only have power because you guys allow them to have power. Because you don't know your rights. This is a continuous theme through this whole video. And then people can make anonymous complaints and circle jerk it all with all of their little tyrant statist buddies to trample on other people's rights and get the government to do their dirty work for them. I don't even know if that's what you can call it. I don't really know what's going on in people's brains when they think they have the right to call up the government to implement unlawful laws, unlawful rules onto other men just because that gives them a good, funny feeling in their stomach that makes them feel special. We live in a sick world where people believe they can do these things to other men and won't be held accountable. And then the men that actually go out and do the dirty work can't be held accountable or won't be held accountable. And it's because people like Mark believe something like this.
The laws are the laws and the rules are the rules, but the fact of the matter is they brought 8 officers here who ransacked my house for a squirrel and a raccoon and made me sit outside where I wasn't allowed to use the bathroom without a police escort. I thought that was a little excessive for a raccoon and a squirrel, but you know, that might just be my opinion. To take
The laws are the laws and the rules are the rules. That's an ignorant statement. The government's rules are not laws. And your problem is you don't understand the law. So join the Sovereign's Way Club and subscribe to this channel so you'll get more information about what really laws are. Because you just got destroyed by rules. The law is a man has the right to administer his own property, even if that property is a squirrel. And another law is due process. The right to due process. And did he get any due process? Let's see.
How did you find out that they euthanized Peanut?
They haven't messaged me. They haven't called me. They haven't given me a formal statement whatsoever. The last time I heard from the DEC was when they left my house. Another news station called me with their statement, and that's how I found out Peanut is gone. They didn't even have the heart to call me themselves to tell me what was going on. This state has more problems than a squirrel and a raccoon, and we're using our taxpayers' dollars to help take these animals out of a comfortable place, all because of some paperwork. The complaints we're told are anonymous. So anonymous claims got the state to get a search warrant, which was signed by multiple different departments and a judge. So I want to know what the evidence was that this was such a devastating thing to the community that we had to waste taxpayers' dollars and ruin a family in a nonprofit animal rescue because we have power?
No, of course he didn't get any due process because they knew they could stomp all over you. They didn't give you a statement. They didn't give you a notice. They didn't tell you anything that was going to happen because they knew they could get away with it and you're not going to hold them accountable because you don't know anything about true law. You don't know how to write a notice. You don't know how to file a claim. And these are all things that men need to start learning how to do to hold their government accountable for the crimes they commit on a daily basis to the citizens, to the people that they are serving. Our servants are out of control, and us as men need to learn how to control them with true law.
Will you be taking some legal action?
Oh, the firefight has just begun. This needs to be used as an example of how this state uses their resources and their power.
I wish I could be confident in that statement, but by this time, we should all know that he doesn't know how to use the law to hold the government accountable, and he's just going to get an attorney. They're just going to turn him over the state, and then they're going to make him follow their rules, which will just back him into a corner, and he'll never get what he wants. These are the sad facts. This is why you need to subscribe to the channel, learn true law, join up with more men, start studying this stuff, join the Sovereign's Way Club, and start spreading this message, bringing back law that the founding fathers established in this country for us that had been indoctrinated away. And if we can do this, then maybe we could take back our nation, bring back the foundations of America, create an anarchist world, have peace and prosperity all over the world, and stop living under these tyrants. And I think that's it. I think I've ranted enough. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Leave a comment if you guys want to get a conversation started. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, do all those good things, share this video around it. And until next time, I'm going to leave you guys in the love and the light of the one infinite creator. Peace.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you killing that squirrel? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then to add insult to injury, there were a bunch of people on the left who were like actually posting that they're glad that MAGA squirrel got killed. which is fucking
MAGA squirrel.
Yeah.
Like the fucking squirrel has an ideology. It's a
It's
cute
just
little
fucking- yeah.
fluffy squirrel.
exactly.
Well, it's
So,
a
like, I
nice
just-
symbol because most like reasonable, compassionate people think that's terrible, and most people who have
Yeah,
pets
exactly.
think it's terrible.
Terrible. So I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I hope people just go out there and vote for Peanut, man. If nothing else, if nothing else, just fucking vote for Peanut. You know.
They've done such a job of painting Trump as a monster. You know, they've